Okay, now while we're waiting for the cows to pass through, we'll play with this ball.
It's a big farm, isn't it?
Yeah.
He said, you indeed, you appear beautifully outwardly. He said, but within you're full of dead men's bones. That's the reason we got to be born again of the Spirit of God. Nicodemus came to the Lord one time and he said, we know that thou art a teacher come from God, because no man can do these miracles that thou doest except God be with him. And Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So he starts on the inside. How many times have you asked people? I've asked people why ain't they serving God? They say, I got to get this done. I got to do this. I got to clean this up and get this right. Now listen, they'll still be doing that when the Lord comes. God's got to start on the inside with your heart. He gives you the new heart. Ezekiel said, I'll take that stony heart and I'll give you a heart of flesh. In other words, he said, I'll make a brand new creature out of you tonight. That's what the Word of God does. The Word of God will let you know where you stand with the Lord. The Bible said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be. You want to know where somebody stands with God? You look at their life and their style. You look what comes out of their mouth. You will see where their heart is, where their treasure is. But the Bible said, if we'll lay our treasure up in heaven, he said, where moth and rust doth not corrupt and thieves can't break through and steal it, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That's when we preach the Word of God. It's the Bible said in Hebrews 4:12, it says the Word of God is quick and it's powerful. It's sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and the spirit and the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intent of the heart.
All right, I had mentioned the other day how that we were, I had a big junk removal job and it fell through, and it did, but at the same time, the guy messaged me back. It's a weird situation. Never had that happen before with one, but he said some other guy gave him a quote before me, but then that guy didn't show up. But then after I gave him a quote, all of a sudden the guy shows up and comes and does a lot of the job, but left some stuff there as well. And so I'm going today, and I'm doing the rest of it, planning to, Lord willing, and it's not going to be what I was going to make 500. It's going to be 225 for what I'm doing today, but it's a lot less work too. So, but anyways, I'm heading there now. I've got a little weed eating to do. Got quite a few plants to take out. A lot of those plants I'll probably keep for myself and give some to my mom. I do that a lot. I've done a lot of landscaping jobs. I've got quite a few shrubs and hedges and stuff there at home that came from me doing landscaping jobs for other people, removing them, and I use them at home because they're good hedges and stuff, but they just want to get rid of them, and flowers and stuff too. And he's got a lot today that he's wanting taken out, and so and he's also wanting some river rock put in those flower beds later, and I told him I could do that as well for him. So I may be getting that job as well. But anyways, I'm going, and a lot of the junk that I was going to haul off, that other guy hauled off, did it very cheap. And but I'm going, he hauled all that stuff off for less than I'm going to do what the stuff that's left. And so anyway, he did it for 150 bucks. So I'm heading there now. He just texted me. That's what I was looking at. Popped up on my phone. So we're heading there now. I got Captain Carter over here with me. I seen Mika, I think that's how you pronounce your name, called him Captain Carter. That's what my papa used to call me, was Captain D. Like the restaurant kind of, where my name's Dylan, he called me Captain D, but Captain Carter there. So anyways, we're heading there now. I'm glad I got this job at least, because that helps a lot. And then today is a hot one, but not quite as hot as it has been. It's actually quite a bit cooler than it has been. I'm looking forward to fall already, honestly. I love the fall time, and just today feeling this little bit of a lot cooler weather reminds me of it. So we're heading on now though, and once we get there, I'll plan to update, try to get a little bit of footage of that. And we may even go to a state mill day where it's cooler. You know, we were in the 90s last week, I believe it was, for like a good straight week in the 90s. Like 94, 95, 92, 93. And this week, it's been up in the high 80s, but today is the coolest one we've had yet. And I think today it's going to be around 82, 84, something like that. So quite a bit cooler, and there's even a chance of rain later, which will probably bring in, you know, a little bit cooler weather as well. All right, we're almost there. I'm just gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get in his driveway exactly, because I've got this 16-foot trailer behind me, and his driveway isn't. I may be able to pull straight in and then turn around. He was supposed to move his cars. We'll see when we get there. All right, so here's this job that I had. Initially, he told me I had it at one point, and then some other guy came and did part of the job. A guy that had bid it before me, but he said the guy never showed up. But he said the guy left a lot of stuff, so he called me to come back. And I think I was there for around 2 hours and 45 minutes or so, and I made $240. So I was pretty happy with that. But I wanted to take the time, too, in this video to thank some people. Chad Rankin, for one, him and his wife he had texted me yesterday, and what he had offered me was so kind of him and his wife. I wanted to mention, I was going to send him a big long text message, but I wanted to put it in this video in hopes that maybe he'll see it and hopefully understand how appreciative I am that he even offered what he offered. But he's a truck driver, and him and his wife drive a flatbed, and they have their own YouTube channel. I think it's called Floating Gears. And he offered to go to the stave mill, because they were coming past Kentucky, with his 48-foot flatbed trailer and his truck, and pick up 3 loads of wood for me. And that was so kind to him. And I told him, you know, that he probably wouldn't even be able to get the truck in here in the driveway, which I don't think he probably could. The road that I live on, not my driveway, but the road that leads to my driveway, is a restricted road, because it used to tell me that on my truck. But I would drive my truck about a half mile down it, bobtailing, but I never drove a trailer down it, and I wouldn't want to. But man, that was so kind to him. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Chad, and your wife. I don't think I've heard you mention her name in a text or anything like that, but thank both of you so much. I'm truly appreciative for that offer. That was so kind of you. I was telling my wife about it, and I wanted to make sure I mention it in this video. I've met so many kind people through YouTube. Rick, you know, has given us, not just people that's given me stuff, you know, like actual tools and stuff like that. Like Steve Wesolowski, he gave me the log splitter, and one of his friends that I never even met at the time gave me a truck. And when I met him, he told me, he said, you know, Steve said you was a good guy, so that's enough for me. And he gave me the truck. So I'm just very appreciative of people, and kind of surprised in a way. You know, when I started YouTube, I thought, you know, it'd be something, it is enjoyable anyways, getting to meet people. But I thought, you know, I'm doing this work already. Maybe I'll be able to make some extra cash recording it. And I actually enjoyed doing the videos. But Firewood, the Firewood videos took off pretty well. And then the shorts really took off, and that kind of caught me by surprise. And just since then, you know, even through trucking to this day, I still have people messaging me, telling me that my videos help them, and I'm very appreciative of that. You know, I'm not saying it in a bragging way. I'm glad to hear that they help in any way. But I wanted to make a point to say thank you to Chad and his wife, and you all be safe out there, and God bless you all. And I think, you know, if I was my kids were grown, I think me and my wife, I could see us doing that as well. I think it'd be enjoyable actually traveling around the United States in a truck. You know, I could definitely see us enjoying that. But being my kids being little like that, I can't do it. And I really enjoy working for myself. And I think Chad may do it for himself, him and his wife. I think if they may be owner operators, I'm not positive, but I think they are. And so that's awesome. But thank you again so much, Chad Rankin and his wife. And as I said, they have a channel called Floating Gears. And but anyways, this job was a big job, and I stayed pretty consistent at it. And there were some things there that I didn't expect, like those posts. You see that post there on the right, the 4x4? That had concrete in it, and he wanted that out. And then there was also some big round like foundation stones there, and they were pretty deep. And I ended up getting my matic or pickaxe, I've always called them, and kind of split them in half with that, and was able to get them out like that. But this day was pretty hot too. I think it was in the 80s again, and it looked like it was going to rain though, so it was actually a little bit better than last week. Well, quite a bit better actually. Last week was kind of miserable to work in. But as you can see here, we cleared it out pretty good. And all he was wanting really was, you know, all this stuff cleared out. You can see there's a pile of leaves there. And I got a lot of those pavers on the trailer back there. Those are pretty expensive, actually. Now, these things, I tried to dig one of them out, and I dug down about 2.5, 3 feet. and still it wasn't moving very much. So I ended up just flipping that mattock over and hitting it again and again, because I've used stone chisels before to chisel through stones when I did landscaping, when I would, you know, put up retaining walls and stuff like that, and you hit the same line again and again and it cracks there. And so I'd never tried it with one this big, so I thought, you know, well, I'll just try that same thing out and see if it works. And sure enough, it did. Kind of like splitting wood down the middle, but a big concrete stone instead. So, but it worked out good in the end. And thank you as well to everybody else on YouTube as well, like Rick, you know, and Steve Wesolowski and his wife. His wife had given Teresa had given my wife something, this little towel thing, and that was just very kind of them. They're just very kind people. And lots of other people I've met. Curtis sent me lots of customers during the winter, and that was just so kind of him. Here's an after picture. I think it looks so much better. And then he even sent me, I'll plan to add that in here, he sent me a video, a picture of what it looked like after he mowed it, because I was telling him, I said, once you get that mowed, you know, it'll look so much better. And he ended up sending me a video, and I'll show you what that looks like right here. Thought that didn't have any barbs on it, and I was wrong. I can't even see them, they're so fine.
I don't even see any on it.
They're little bitty fine ones. All right, wow, my face is covered. You should have told me that, Carter.
What?
My face is covered and stuff. Oh well, that's what happened when you just kind of work. But it's 11:55 now. So I think we got started at like 9:15. So that's close to 3 hours, more like 2.5 or something like that. And I made $240 for that. So, which I could have definitely got bid it for more. He's also want me to give him a bid on the so I'm putting in some river rock for him, and his neighbor as well is wanting me to look at something and give him a bid. So I'm planning to maybe do the river rock for him, and then when I do that, do his neighbor's job, or give his neighbor a bid as well. But $240 right there, and less than 3 hours, so that's not too bad really. This place right up here on the left, years ago, in my early 20s, I cleaned horse stalls there just for a little while. I didn't do it very long, didn't enjoy it at all, but I did it right over here. They did something called reining with those horses right there. Those barns down there, used to clean stalls in those. But they did reining or something. They would make the horses run, and then they'd pull back on the reins and they'd make them slide. It was weird. I'd never seen it before I went there. I am covered in stuff. But anyways, that I just felt like mentioning that. It's random. I'm tired. I'm gonna get off here. I'll just put it on him and leave it on. And leave it on. Oh, trying to distract me.
They did. I promise.
He's a good boy, ain't you? Yes. They're such gentle dogs, these guys. These Pyrenees, but they're such good guardians and good with children. Real good natured dogs. I wouldn't have one around my kid if it grew out, a dog around my kid if it grew out myself. No sir, or nobody else's. Look at that, huh? Yeah, I already had them.
Oh.
That one I got pretty dirty on that job, and that was a lot of stuff too, so. Got a lot of cleaning up to do here around home, a lot of cleaning up to do on me, and feels like it might rain. I hope it doesn't, because I really want to mow and weed eat, so that's what the neighbors up there are doing, it sounds like. So anyway, for now I'm going to go in and try to get all these cactus barbs out of me. I've got them all in my hands, and then try to well, take a shower and then rest a little bit and get a cup of coffee and plan to come back out here and mow. All right, so I'm sitting inside right now resting a little bit. I made there's $240 for that, which was a lot cheaper than I initially was going to make, but still it didn't take me too long. Like I said, less than 3 hours. I made $240, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. But now what I'm going to do is drink some coffee a little bit, and then plan to go out and mow, and I may head to the stave mill later this evening and get another load of wood. Like I said, I want to accumulate it. So, but the main thing right now though is mowing, and because I've got so much plants from that job on my trailer, some of those I'm going to use. Actually, I'll probably use some to kind of re-landscape out there by our gate, and also I plan to maybe give some to my mom. That cactus, I got all kinds of spikes on me. I even got one in my gum earlier, trying to pull them out of my hand with my teeth. I got quite a few out, but man, I got probably 50 or 100 of them in my hands from that cactus. But anyways, all in all, so far a good day. And Lord willing, I'm going to go out and, like I said, try to mow and weed eat, and then maybe head to the stave mill after. Maybe. I'm not positive yet about that. Got rained out from mowing. It's still kind of, you can hear it kind of falling from the trees. Love these big oaks. But anyways, there's quite a few plants here that I'm planning to replant, and I've got the roots pretty good on them. So I think they'll be just fine. Those are hostas. And I'm still digging these things out. I didn't think this had anything on it, like any of those sharp barbs. And it's got all kinds of little hairs in it. And I've got them all in my fingers. I got a lot of them out. Even got one of my gums earlier trying to pull them out with my teeth. Got a bunch of those pavers there. I can reuse those. But anyways, this is a job I did earlier. All right. Planning to get them split. Just throw them off over here. What it's kind of looking like. Carter's planning to take those. All right, so this was after the rain had kind of came in and was in the evening, and so I'm wanting to burn that brush back there soon too, but it's a little too wet now. I saw on my phone, it's usually pretty accurate. I've got an iPhone accurate with the weather, I mean. But I saw on there where it was showing, I think tomorrow there's a chance of rain as well. But then we were supposed to be back up in even the 90s and sunny again, which I'm okay with it getting sunny, but the 90s is rough to work in, especially splitting wood. But I plan to continue doing it. I just plan to be smart about it, you know, or try to be anyways. But anyways, a lot of this oak that I've been getting from the stave mill has been some tough stuff, this white oak. They say it's butt ends, you know, so there's every now and then there's some that's very easy to split. It splits very well. And then sometimes there's some like this that's just tough stuff. You've got to hit it again and again to break through those fibers. It's very strangy wood. And yeah, I know I'm splitting on gravel here. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I split to produce wood. So, I would still rather not split in the gravel. But the way I've got everything set up right now, you know, it just... where I unloaded the wood at and everything, it's right next to them pallets, so it's kind of where I put myself, but I would definitely rather not split in the gravel. So anyways, Carter ends up splitting here a little bit later too, and well, that's the plan, is just to continue piling wood up, you know, while I'm working, because I'm going to do other things as well in the summer, you know, like that guy that I did that job for today, he was wanting me to come back and put in some river rock. I think I maybe mentioned that in this video already, but he was wanting me to put in some river rock for him in his flower beds and around his pool. And then he said his neighbor had a big landscaping job that he was wanting me to quote for him. And I'm happy to do anything like that, you know, so long as I feel it's profitable. So I'm not afraid of physical work. I actually enjoy it a lot. I very much like it. I love working outside myself. I do not like being in a building. I never have. I've worked at factories and stuff in the past. I like to be outside. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with factories. That's good, honest work, you know, and it's needed. It provides many things for us, but it just, for me, I like to be outside. I always have. I've never liked to be in a building. When I was in school, it was the same way. I always hated school, honestly. I hated being stuck in a building. I did not like school. So anyways, that's kind of all besides the point. But as you can see, some of this wood is tough here. I was trying to flick it here, and it just would not flick apart. And that's not even a big piece of wood. So the shorter stuff, I got a guy that's this week, I think, is supposed to be getting some. He said to get with them this week. So actually tomorrow I'll probably go and message him. I may possibly bring him some wood tomorrow. And then I've got, like I said, maybe a couple landscaping jobs. And I've got some quite a few little trees to chip, so I'm looking for a good used chipper is what I'm looking for. I've never had one before, but it's something that would be very handy for me at home and then on quite a few different jobs I've done as well. I'm wanting to build my equipment up again. I used to have more equipment when I did landscaping, and then when I got into trucking, I kind of sold a lot of it. But I had built up quite a bit, and I really like having good equipment because what it is investments, you know. It pays for itself. That trailer, I believe, has already paid for itself and more. I gave $1,600 for it, and then I think I gave around $340 for the axles, brand new online. And I think I've made well over that with it now. Between the firewood that I've sold and then the junk removal jobs I've done and stuff like that, I think I've made well over that. And I plan to put it to work for, Lord willing, many years to come. But I want to get some, I think, a dump trailer or more because I'm kind of interested in renting them out too. I'm kind of like passive income. That's something I've always been interested in. And I watched a younger man who, he's a little bit older than me, but I've watched him for years. And it's called Homemade Home, his channel. And he's a family man as well, but he's very handy, very good electrician and carpenter and all that. And I've watched him get $5,000 homes, $10,000 homes, and he kind of remodels them himself. You know, he does all the labor himself, but then he uses them as rental properties, and it's passive income, and he's trying to build them up over the years. And that's kind of really what I'd like to do. I'm not looking to retire, you know, to have any 401k or nothing like that. I'm looking to work as long as I can, as long as I'm able, Lord willing, and to have some passive income like that, you know, either storage buildings or some rental properties and stuff like that. I see them here in Kentucky quite a bit sometimes I've seen them, you know, and they need some work, but for $10,000 and stuff like that. So that's kind of my plan for the future. You know, I'm 33 years old. I know that time goes by quick, and I know that lots of things can happen. The main thing is putting God first, you know, and he'll work out all things for you good. But I'll tell you one thing, I love to work for myself. I do. It's something that I can't see myself ever getting away from that. Like I've kind of said before, I'm not a good employee because I'm looking for a way out while I'm there. I'm not planning to stay. I may not tell you that, you know, I've worked for places. I may not tell you that, but I'm looking for a way out. You know, it's not a long-term plan for me to stay there. So working for myself is just something I enjoy. It's something I plan to always do for as long as I'm able, and I plan to make it work however I need to. And I've found, you know, that if you work hard and you do a good job for people and stuff like that, and you make a good effort and everything, you know, there's lots of work out there. And your name really goes a long ways, you know, your reputation. I mean, you build your reputation over the years. And I used to do landscaping for this one older woman. Her name was Linda, and she used to leave her garage open. She said, you know, I trust you. And she said, it's good to have somebody you can trust to work for you. She said, I trust you to not bother anything when I'm gone and me leave my garage open, you know. And so you develop relationships with your customers over the years. When I was in landscaping, I developed a lot of relationships like that. I had one woman named Joan, and she brought me chocolates for Christmas and everything to my home. But it's good memories thinking back on that stuff. But anyways, you all be safe out there, and God bless.